For one moment, in late 2025, the most valuable company in Brazil wasn't the state oil giant that had held that crown for decades. It was a bank, a digital bank that didn't exist 13 years ago, has no branches, and started with a single purple credit card. How a company built on software and data passed on an oil major, even for a moment, tells you almost everything about where finance is going. And almost nobody outside Brazil was paying attention. Let me fix that. Quick context, because the origin matters. For decades, Brazilian banking was basically a closed club. Five giant banks, some of the highest fees on earth, branches where you'd wait in line for an hour, and a huge population that quietly hated all of it. If you never had to take a number and sit in a bank for a half a day just to sort out a fee, it's hard to explain how much people resented it. In 2013, Nubank walked in with one product, a no-fee purple credit card you managed entirely from your phone. That's it. No branches, no paper, no annual fee. It sounds small. It wasn't. Because the incumbents had gotten lazy on a captive market, that one honest product spread by word of mouth. People literally posted their approval letters online. The complaints about old banks became Nubank's marketing. Then Nubank did the patient thing. It climbed the stack. Card, then a bank account, then loans, then investments, then insurance. Each new layer made living harder and made the next one easier to sell. The result is a number that's hard to picture. Nubank crossed 100 million customers in 2024, the first digital bank outside Asia to ever do that. And it's well past 120 million now across Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia. In a country of about 250 million people, a huge share of every adult banks with a company barely old enough to be a teenager. It went public in New York City in 2021. Warren Buffett was an early baker at around $41 billion. And by late 2025, the market briefly valued it above Petrobras, the state oil company that had symbolized Brazilian business for generations. Now, to be honest with you, Petrobras has since taken that crown back. They trade places. But the fact that the moment happened at all, that's the story. So, how does a bank with no branches beat banks with thousands of them? Same answer as the Pix video I recently posted. Product and incentives, not magic, actually. 1. They removed everything people hated. No fees, no waiting rooms, no phone trees, no manager who needs 3 days to approve anything. 2. They were mobile first, while the giants were still defending desktop logins and physical branches. 3. And this is the one people miss. They ran a bank like a software product that improves every single week, not a vault that changes once a decade. But the deepest advantage is data. Every swipe, every transfer, every bill you pay teaches Nubank something about you. A traditional bank sees a customer as a folder, a few documents, a salary, and a score from a bureau. Nubank sees a live stream of behavior. And once you have that stream, at the scale of 120 million people, you can do something the incumbents that structurally cannot. You can also bank people that old systems simply ignored. Millions who never had credit card because a bureau had no file on them. That's not just growth in Brazil, that's financial inclusion. And it's exactly what sets up the actual story of 2026. Here's the part that should make every fintech and AI person sit up. Nubank built its own AI model for credit. They call it nuFormer. And it's not a chatbot bolted onto an app. It's a foundation model, the same transformer architecture behind ChatGPT and Gemini, but pointed at money. Think about what a language model does. It reads a sequence of words and predicts the next one. Now, swap the words for transactions. Your statement is a sentence. Your spending story is a paragraph. Your whole financial life is a story. nuFormer reads that sequence and predicts your next financial move, including how likely you are to pay back a loan. On top of it, in 2025, they launched their own credit score, nuScore, 0 to 1000, built from your actual behavior, not just a bureau file. According to Nubank, this approach cut projected credit risks by around 70% versus their older models. And it prices and approves a personal loan based on its predicted value in under a second. Sit with that. In a country where your credit score was always a black box owned by the bureaus, a bank that models your real behavior in real time is quite a revolution. It means approving more people with less risk instantly. That's not a feature you add, that's a different economics of lending. And it's the kind of thing you can only build if you own the data and the model, which almost no traditional bank does. Now, watch the whole arc close. The company that was born attacking Brazil's banking giants is now knocking on America's door. In January 2026, Nubank got conditional approval from the US regulator, the OCC, to open a national bank in the United States. Deposits, lending, credit cards, even crypto custody across all 50 states. It still has to clear the FDIC and the Federal Reserve and fund the bank within a year, but the door is open. So the story isn't scrappy Latin America startup makes good. The story is Brazil quietly became a place that exports financial infrastructure, models, and talent to the world's biggest economy. The view from inside is that this is one of the most interesting banks of the planet right now. And most of the Western tech press is still describing it as the Brazilian chime. So, did a digital bank beat an oil company? Yeah, for a moment, on a screen. And markets will keep trading places. But that scoreboard was never the real story. The real story is that a 13-year-old company built on a purple card and a data model got big enough to make that moment possible at all. And it's now licensed to try the same thing in the United States. This is the pattern this whole channel is about. The most important things in tech and finance aren't only happening in San Francisco. Sometimes they are being built in São Paulo, Brazil, and shipped north. If that's the view you want, please do subscribe. Next time, I'll talk about how WhatsApp is being one of the most important apps for Brazilian people. See you then.